talk to you about investors and how to manage them to increase your income. And it's really, really important, regardless of what business that you're in, that you manage. Not all businesses will have investors, but certainly all businesses will have leads. And that is exactly what an investor is. Any investor that approaches you and indicates that they may be interested in working with you is a lead and needs to be treated as such. Now, most people, including myself, when I came into setting up and running my own business, had no idea about marketing, about leads, about managing, about controlling, about identifying, about communicating, about all of that. It's something that I've learned about, and I'm still no expert on the subject, over many, many years. But we thought this morning, instead of compliance, that we'd talk about something that was actually relevant to your business and how to help you manage some hints and tips. I've got some notes as usual, so if I look down, it's because I'm just having a look, making sure that I'm covering everything that I need to for you. So when you get an investor that expresses an interest in working with you, that doesn't mean they're going to go through and buy umpteen million deals from you. More often than not, they will fall off a cliff. And by that I mean they'll disappear for some reason and not communicate with you again at all. Sometimes you will message them because they've given you a business card to communicate. You'll text them, you'll email them, you'll get no response. Sometimes you'll have a few email communications and then nothing. Sometimes you'll even arrange a coffee meeting or a phone call and then nothing. And that happens a lot. Does that mean that you actually kick them out of your list? No. It just means that they're not ready for your services now. Does it mean that you email them weekly or monthly? No. You set time schedules in between with larger and larger gaps. And then what we do is we put them on just what we call a general mailer, which is once a month just getting in touch about what we've been up to, what we've been doing, any properties that we've viewed and all of that sort of thing. If they don't want to be a part of your world, then they can unsubscribe. So sometimes they fall off a cliff because it's you that has the weird feeling about them. You just have that feeling. And we don't always get on with everybody. We just don't. Sometimes personalities clash. And I've had conversations or meetings with people that wanted to invest through us, and I've just thought, no, it's not going to happen. And we've just said thanks, but no. And never be afraid to actually be the person that says thank you, but no thanks. You need to start having a process of holding your lead information, your investor information. I mean, it works for sellers as well, but we'll talk about investors this morning. Some way of holding that information, some way of tracking what you've done with them, what progress you've made, and what your next activity should be. And interaction comes from action. They won't interact with you if you don't interact with them. So you've got to communicate with them. And because we all have busy lives, and I can't remember what I did yesterday, never mind 3 weeks ago, you need a system that tells you exactly what stage you're at with each person. And it doesn't have to be an expensive system. We use a couple, and I'll talk about them in a moment. We use Pipedrive in both our training system and our National Association system, and it will work for your sourcing business. And you can start with the basic Pipedrive level, which is actually a CRM from £14 a month. And CRM is just a customer relationship manager. And the great thing about Pipedrive is that you can send emails out of it. If you have an email system separately, such as Google, or we use whatever we use, I don't know what system it's on, you can connect it to Pipedrive, and even if you email out of your email system separately and out of Pipedrive, if you use their correct email and the email that you have logged with Pipedrive, it will hold it on their profile for you, so you have a record of communication and emails. You can log in there that you've had a phone call and put notes on. You can put in there what your next activity is and a date and a reminder message, and they all come up and give you task messages for that day, for that week. And it's a really, really brilliant system to start off with for managing and controlling those investors, because you can give them tags. So you can give them expressed interest, you could give them first call, or you could give them cold, warm, hot. You know, it's entirely up to you. But you need a way of describing and holding what level each of those leads, those investors sits at, what work you've done with them, and where you're going to go with them next. So it is essential that you do this, because if you don't do, you will drop the ball and you will potentially lose income because you're not communicating with those investors. Another option for you is a system called Monday, yes, the day of the week, monday.com. And it's a system that we use to project manage for both of our, well, all of our businesses. And there is a limited free option for you to go in and just have a sampler of it and just see what it's like. It is limited usage, but for you to start off with will probably be enough. And in the same way, you can hold information in there. You can't email out of Monday, but you can manage them through columns of titles such as lead, such as communicating, had call, arrange meeting, converted, whatever it is that you want to say, you could do it through that system as well. So those are worth you having a look at. You need to track where you're getting people coming in from, and it's really, really important. And as your business grows, it's even more important. Where are your main leads coming from? Are they word of mouth? Which for our sourcing business, actually, that is now. It wasn't in the beginning, and it won't be for you. Are you getting them from networking? Are you getting them from business networking or property networking? Are you getting them from Facebook or LinkedIn? Are you getting them from, I don't know where else, meetings at local authority meetings? Where are you getting your leads from? So when you get a lead in, create a way of holding where that lead source was from. Then you can see where the lead sources in the main are coming from, and then you can focus your efforts on those areas. Because if you focus your efforts on LinkedIn and you're not getting anything through, you're wasting your time. If you test and trial, which is the only way of doing it, you can work out which is the best way for you. And for everyone, it's completely different. You can do this with seller leads as well, by the way. And then you can work out how long it's taking you to get one of those leads from a lead to where they sign up with you and they say, yes, this is exactly what I want, go out and source, or to where you actually get cash from them. And work out where the sticking points are. Ask them how they found your process of dealing with them. Was there anything that you could have done better? What our approved NAPs and members have come back and fed back recently, which I was really interested in, was the fact that investors were attracted to working with them because working through us and NAPs, so they have processes in place. And these processes are written down. They're called controls and procedures for money laundering. And they had a step-by-step process which is very defined to bring on board those investors and inform them at regular stages. And the investors were very, very impressed with that. And that was what attracted them to them and got them to sign up. So these processes and stages work, because that way when you're bringing on board an investor, each investor that you bring on goes through the same process and have the same experience. Not all of them will stay with you. It doesn't mean to say that your process is wrong or that there is anything wrong with you. As I said before, sometimes personalities just don't match, or for some unknown reason they just don't want to work with you, and we have to accept that, just as they have to accept that sometimes we don't want to work with them. So remember, if you get organised and you know about each lead in your pipeline, where you're up to, where you want to take it to next, and you have a task attached, a future task for each of those leads for the next stages, you'll be better equipped with knowing what the follow-up message is based on what's happened in the past, and you learn as you work, and also you learn what doesn't work. And it's great for every new lead that comes through the door. You end up with a process where you simply just add them into the system that you're using and start them off on that process. And what we have now is we have some, when you add them, it triggers a hello and welcome email, or a hello and thank you for agreeing to have a chat with me. Would a call help? Something like that. So you can actually start in, certainly in Pipedrive, automating some of these emails as well to save you time. Don't automate everything. It's about that personal contact and that personal communication, I always think.